Along a rural stretch of highway in northern Alberta, the province's soon-to-be newest roadside attraction. No, it's not set to compete against other provincial icons like the largest egg or the giant sausage. This turnoff leads to a $34 million dinosaur museum in the final stages of construction. And it's located in Wembley, Alberta, population 1,300. So just why put a dinosaur museum here? To answer that, you can board the museum's helicopter to take a 15-minute flight to the Pipestone Creek bone bed.
It goes under this sediment and it actually rolls right into the hill right there.
It might not look like much, but paleontologist Matt Hearn says in a space roughly the size of a football field lies a prehistoric burial ground.
The dinosaurs are thought to have got caught up in a catastrophic flood event where they were overcome and washed to this point in a river in flood. Possibly thousands of individuals, at least hundreds that we know of, didn't survive, and they all ended up in this place.
This ridge is now called the River of Death and Discovery. More than 3,000 bones have been found in this one area, making it one of the densest deposits of dinosaurs in the world. It's thought that the dinosaurs died about 73 million years ago. The bones were discovered in 1973 by Al Lacusta, who just happened to be out for an afternoon ramble.
I could see what I thought was bones, so I clambered up there, and sure enough, there was some rib fragments, some vertebra, part of a thigh bone. This is part of a femur.
The high school science teacher applied for a permit. Every night after school, he went back to fill up his backpack with up to 100 pounds of rock and bone, then lug it 1 kilometer out of the bush before laying it out in his basement.
Almost all of it was covered with bone.
What did your wife think about all of this?
Well, first of all, she said we're probably the only ones who have a basement that's decorated in early Cretaceous. But I had to remind her it wasn't early, it was late Cretaceous.
Eventually, Lacusta's permit expired, so his digging stopped. That bone was sent to a museum, and the Pipestone Creek bone bed lay relatively untouched for a decade.
In a way, it was overwhelming because there was so much bone coming out of that one bone bed that really I, as a provincial paleontologist, couldn't do much about it at first because we didn't have the budget to handle what we were trying to do already in places like Drumheller. Some of these small scales, in fact, start coalescing into these larger scales.
At the time, renowned paleontologist Philip Currie was absorbed in the Alberta Badlands, uncovering fossils for the Royal Tyrrell Museum. But once that opened in 1985, he and others turned their attention back to the northern bone bed. What they ended up discovering was a new species, a horned rhinoceros-like dinosaur. So they named it after the now retired high school teacher who first discovered the area.
The naming ceremony, and that's when he presented me with that.
The dinosaur was named Pachyrhinosaurus lacustae. The new species, along with other fossil finds, was more motivation to pursue an idea that had been tossed around for years, to build a dinosaur museum in northern Alberta.
It's finally coming together. It's pretty close.
Kevin O'Toole says the biggest challenge was finding a way to pay for the multi-million-dollar project. The province kicked in $10 million. Fundraisers were held with celebrity supporters like Dan Aykroyd.
A tooth! No.
But it was the county of Grand Prairie that pitched in the most, nearly $20 million. And O'Toole admits some were skeptical.
There's a number of people that felt that that amount of money being spent on a project like this was far-fetched. But I think now that it's in the finishing and final stages, that it's coming to a reality.
The final exhibits are now being assembled, and museum officials promise the high-tech layout will wow. Exhibits are interactive. Tablets bring the skeletons to life, giving visitors a sense of just how the dinosaurs lived. It's expected that thousands will stop in this fall to visit what's been named the Philip J. Currie Museum.
I felt very funny about it. And most of the time things get named after people after they're dead, right? And I wasn't quite willing to admit that yet.
Well, Currie admits that the remote location likely won't draw the same kind of audience as the province's other dinosaur museum. He feels success isn't measured solely by how many people walk through the doors.
For me as a scientist, the most important thing will be how many discoveries are made because of the location of that museum.
And how that contributes to our understanding of just what roamed the earth here all those years ago. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Wembley, Alberta.